With me is Shoshan Sarkis, a fantastically brilliant Assyrian activist, Assyrian leader, not just in Chicago, but internationally, someone who has really dedicated her life to the cause of the Assyrians. She was born in Iraq and now she's residing in the United States. Shushan, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Juliana, always.
Thank you so much. We are excited to hear your story. You're representing Iraq. As you know, I've had someone from Russia, someone from Iran, and someone from Turkey and Lebanon. You're representing Iraq, our ancestral homeland, Assyria. I would like for you to share stories that really on the forefront of your mind about our people on the ground in Iraq, and if you've been involved with them, how are you involved? So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Juliana. As far as I remember, uh, we fled Iraq due to the persecution of Assyrian Christians back. And in 1976, my family decided that we should leave because there were so many pressures on us as a high school students to become part of Al-Ba'ath Party back then. And as a family, we never involved in politics. So we had to leave. There was no other way. Otherwise, we will get hurt. So we left in 1976, fled to Greece, and then to United States in 1979. I had always held in my heart the pain of so many people there that still lived there and be prosecuted. So I took it upon myself that when I get to the United States, I will do my best to try to help those people. Obviously, back in 1991, when the Gulf War started, we performed the Assyrian Aid Society of America here to send humanitarian aid to those Assyrian displaced people or other needy people in the region, especially in north of Iraq. I was assigned as an international staff for Assyrian Aid Society of America. And my mission was particularly in the north side of Iraq. There were hundreds of thousands of displaced Assyrian Christians, refugees with the disaster situation. They had absolutely nothing. So I tried, first of all, to make relationships with other humanitarian organizations that were active in the area. I built good relationship with UN staffs that worked at the UNGCR there. And together we used to cooperate with programs to help those needy and displaced families. During our gathering as international humanitarian activists with the UN, I met this UN guy and we were talking about displaced people and how can we exceed our efforts to try to reach more and more people to get help for them. So he told me there were 43 Assyrian families that fled Baghdad by UN and they took them back to their villages. There were two villages in Sindhi area that is close to Zaho. And there were two villages, Levu and Mergasor. There were Assyrian villages. There were 43 families there that arrived. We haven't heard about that. And the guy said they were there for 2 months now. So I at once, I need to mention this though, as a humanitarian organization, Assyrian Aid Society and Assyrian Aid and Social Society that is in Iraq are two sister organizations. I happen to be also a vice president of Assyrian Aid and Social Society Iraq. But we could not complete our mission without the help of guards, because at that time there were so many security conflicts in the area. There were fighting between the Kurdish rebels and the the government and others, we had no part in it, but we couldn't move around the areas securely. So we had to ask for a help from the only Assyrian Christian forces that protected our people there, and they were the guards of Assyrian Democratic Movement. We could not move without them. So I sent them a word right away, and I asked them to go to those villages and see what's happening there really. Are there 43 families there? When did they arrive? How many children there are there? How many women? So thankfully for them, they went and they analyzed everything, they saw everything. So they came back. When they told us the stories, it touched my heart really. I was crying for them without seeing them. We took care of everything as a Syrian Aid and Social Society Iraq, and we took the relief, the humanitarian aids. When we got to the villages, of course, they notified the families that people from Assyrian Aid Society are coming to bring you help. So they were standing there, and that scene I would never forget. I see tired mothers holding babies almost dying from hunger. When I looked at them, I see they were living among four walls. It was obviously an unfinished built houses without a roof. Basically, they were living there, sleeping in that cold without a roof, without any means of living, like clean water, uh, blankets, uh, baby milk, nothing, absolutely. So we thought of these things ahead of time, of course. We took a lot of those materials that were life saving. For example, baby's milk, rice, flour, sugar, water, blankets, you name it. So they were so happy to see us there because they said, nobody came. We have been here for 2 months. Nobody visited us. So after that, we used to give them a regular visit every 2 weeks, every month, just to be close to their needs, to see how they are doing. And then later we did a water projects for them. We helped them in many ways. They were so happy with us until they settled. They were comfortable. The babies grew up. So every time we went there, they would see our car. They would come gather around us, smiling, happy. They know that we brought help again. Those are some of the memories that I will never forget. During our visits to these projects, we would see people, felt hope again, and we were trying to find more projects, so we can have them depend on themselves in living, small projects. But then, I had to leave. End of 96, I had to leave, come back to the United States.
I know you've done tremendous work on the ground in Iraq. Do you particularly remember one special story? I mean, all stories are special, actually. But do you remember one story that stood out for you during your time on the ground in Iraq when you encountered a mother? You mentioned mothers were tired, the children were hungry, they were in their mother's arms. Is there a story that stands out that you want to share with us?
There are many stories, Juliana, but I particularly met this woman that has a son that he was very sick. They couldn't operate on him in Iraq. He was still like 7 years old. The mother was crying, didn't know what to do. There was also a mother that had a daughter. I think she was 8 years old. And she was begging us to do something for them. helping them with medication wasn't enough. They needed life surgeries, and they couldn't do it in Iraq. So I contacted our headquarters in California, the Assyrian Aid Society, and discussed with them the situation. So they immediately took the steps and organized everything for them. So we brought them to the United States for life surgeries, and their mothers were escorting them. They were very thankful for whatever we did for them. And the boy that was 7 years old, he's grown up now, he's married, he has kids, so he'll always call and say, "Hi Auntie, how are you? Thank you." It's so many stories, Juliana, so many stories. I can't tell you how I felt. Really, I felt happiness inside me because I could do something for these people, of course with the help of the team, for my team from Assyrian Aid and Social Society Iraq, and from Assyrian Aid Society in America. But still, you could feel the hope in their faces when they see somebody that cares for them, wants to help them stand up again on their feet and forget all the misery that they faced before, and start new life. That all makes a difference. So those are two stories that I remember too.
You just said something very important, for them to stand on their feet and technically build new lives. But we take our memories with us, right? Wherever we go, majority of us, unfortunately, now are living in the diaspora, what I call an exile. What is your message to the children that are growing up here, or to those that are just arriving in the West and they really want to forget the traumas of the past, or they want to assimilate very quickly in the fiber of the West? Can you speak a bit on the importance of preservation of our memory, therefore our culture?
It is very important. I always, when I meet youngsters, I'll always tell them, be what you want to be, but don't forget your past. Because your past is your history. And history is very, very important to learn lessons from. Never forget that you have brothers and sisters. They don't have the same opportunity that you have here in the United States. So be good, study, succeed, but think about others too. We are all humans. We don't know when, where we're going to face something bad. We ourselves would look for others to help us. So never forget that. As a humans, we have to help each other. I'm not talking here only about Assyrians. Anybody. Humanitarian means all humans together. Wherever there is a need and you can help, don't hesitate. Help as much as you can, because this is how it should be. Love, caring will take us high. You would never even think about it. But in your life, so many times you might face something that you would need help from others. So I always tell them, learn about your history, learn about your people, what they went through, and try to make the best of your knowledge to build yourself as a charisma and to help others too. That's always my message for them. Never forget your history, never forget your nation. Be always helpful.
Why should we remain as Assyrians in the West?
Because we are Assyrians. We cannot deny our nation. We are Assyrians. I could be a good Assyrian American. This country gave us home, gave us so many opportunities. We can be good for our country, but we can be good for our nation too. our nation is a part of this. You know, when we come here, we feel home again. You know, we live peace. We have so many opportunities, uh, but at the same time, we are the cradle of civilization. Assyrians are cradle of civilization. We should be proud of ourselves that we gave the humanity so much, and we should continue on that. So we should be proud of our nation as Assyrians too.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Shoshan. Your message is crucial to this generation and future generations that will come. And thank you for sharing the stories, the heartfelt stories. And thank you for your service to our nation. God bless you.